tournament. Both guys have scored impressive distance wins. Now what happens? The man in blue is Jean-Paul Mendy. Anthony Henshaw, black and gold, comes forward. He's quick, as you said, Steve. This fight could be all about who controls pace. To me, I think that is an absolute key, and we saw Henshaw climb all over Bunting in the last fight. Let's see how he fights a southpaw, number one. We always love to see what a conventional guy does against the southpaw.
Yes, and that's critical for Henshaw because his jab is his best weapon. And in a lot of fights against southpaws, righties don't land the jab well at all. For a lot of reasons.
John Russell, his trainer, said he will do that.
You see the numbers. Mendy's fought a lot more rounds. He's much older than Henshaw, but Henshaw would have caught up, except he had a couple of 2-year layoffs that really slowed his career.
Mendy, pretty tight defense, but he did get hit a lot against Buchanan, as we mentioned, and we showed the highlight package a little bit earlier. But Buchanan was a guy he felt, I think, justifiably couldn't hurt him. Knocked off balance there by a right hand. That's a great punch against the southpaw. Just shorten up that little right hand. And he had Mendy in retreat, so perhaps a little bit of a balance issue there. Henshaw's the guy coming forward now. Probing to the body there, and now moving to the right side, trying to move left and away from Mendy's left hand.
Well, Nick, it's very early in this fight, but I'm very surprised at how it's going. I didn't think Henshaw, especially this early, would be able to back Mendy up. And if Mendy can't come forward and apply pressure, he's not a good enough boxer to win this fight.
Wild left hand from Mendy. Mendy fighting off his back leg. You're right, Steve. But he's choosing to do so. Looks like he wants to counter, and there with nothing coming back at him, sinks a left hand to the body of Tony Henshaw.
And there are no surprises with these two. You know, they've been eyeing each other from before this tournament started. They both felt this would be the final.
Well, we're glad it is in terms of these guys have clearly risen to the top. Mendy all in blue. Gets clipped by a little combination from Henshaw. Henshaw much more cautious in this fight. He went right after LaFerrell Bunting.
He had to because he had such a big reach disadvantage. He had to get close. He has a reach disadvantage this fight too, but he's not in as big a rush probably because Mendy's a lefty. Henshaws only fought one lefty.
Mendy, nice veteran move there as he's held with the right hand and nailed Henshaw with the left. Here comes a southpaw stance from Henshaw.
No. Interesting move. I don't think it's necessary. He was doing fine boxing orthodox, and he's right back to orthodox.
Yeah. He is a natural left-hander, but has fought orthodox his entire career. Now a little bit of a swing fest there before the bell end, round one. So Henshaw's big issue, how to solve a southpaw. He talked about it.
Fighting left-handers, you got to step to the left and shoot straight right-hand left hooks. And I'm trying to, step left, use my jab, and back him up. Because a lot of left-handers, they can't fight backing up. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm in tip-top shape, and ain't nobody can beat me when I'm in tip-top shape.
That's what John Russell wants him to do.
All right, you're looking good, but don't get careless. You know what I mean? Let's keep fighting our fight, all right? Use a little angles on him. Use some angles. Finish with the right hand over top, all right? The hook is there. You found the uppercut in that round, all right? Don't switch this early. Stay right-handed, all right? Don't switch yet. Good. Give me some head movement, too, all right?
Round two, super middleweight finals. Two unbeaten fighters in need of an impressive performance to go somewhere and become a top 10 guy. And it could happen here tonight on Showbox if they do enough. Tony Henshaw wants to back Mendy up, says he cannot fight backing up. Is that a generalization about most southpaws that the opponent has made?
Well, in this case, I think it's very true. Because Mendy's not a big puncher. He's a pressure fighter. He's awkward. If you back him up, he's not technically sound enough to outbox you, and he's probably not going to get rid of you. So, and I like John Russell telling Henshaw not to go southpaw. There's no reason to change up when you were as successful as Henshaw was in round one.
Yeah, Steve Mendy was talking about he just sensed that this would be a collision fight, and finally now they're getting up close and personal. that would mean that he would have to be coming forward now. Now he's content to fight off his own corner. He's waiting for Henshaw to come to him, and Henshaw obliging the much more busier, he's the busier puncher here. Sinking in the left. Mendy really holding on, looking like he's trying to pace himself.
Henshaw's out fighting Mendy outside, inside, outboxing him. Right now, he's in total control. Mendy looks confused, tentative.
He really does.
His mouth is open. It's only the second round.
So all about pressure then, not only pace as well. And John Russell wants Henshaw to be a little bit cautious, but to really push this guy back and keep pushing. And he's doing exactly that. And I've always loved Henshaw's quickness, Steve. We talked about his movement, foot speed, hand speed. He's able to stay away from danger. Now we see Mendy trying to creep forward a little bit. Not really smoking the jab. Oh, low blow there from him.
Step back. Keep the punches up.
Mendy warned for that low blow. He's all blue. Black and gold is the American Anthony Henshaw. 2 unbeaten super middleweights trying to win this Showbox tournament. Go on to a top 10 fight, maybe a title fight by the end of the year if it all would break well. They've got to be impressive tonight. Henshaw avoids the left and then the follow-up left from Mendy.
When they're on the outside, it seems pretty clear Mendy is not comfortable leading. He'd rather counter. His jab is not a factor at all.
Steve, in the first 2 rounds, I saw Mendy well. The second fight that he went the distance from Buchanan. Lots more angles from him. We're not seeing it tonight at all. Straight up, straight back.
Deep. C'est bien la protégeant.
C'est le mec qui est ouvert.
Tombe les jambes, tombe les jambes. Respire. Creuse-moi le ventre. Récupère bien. Donc à la bâton, Jeep. Laisse-le partir, pas en même temps que lui, d'accord? Il part à l'arrache. Bloque et tu pars après, aller intérieur.
Let him go. Don't go on the same time as he goes.
Bam, bam, tu bloques. Il commence fort les rounds, il est fini mal. Ok? Donc sers-toi de ça. Laisse-le se fatiguer. Bam, 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 je bloque et je contre derrière.
Let him get tired.
Il a pas l'air d'aimer de reculer. Ok?
He doesn't seem like to.
Il est dangereux quand même. Fais attention, d'accord, Jean-Paul?
Méchant, Jeep. Ok? On n'est pas là pour rigoler, Jeep.
Action from round 2. You see them on the inside. It's Mendy who's against the ropes. And Tony Henshaw using a left hook. Remember, he's a natural lefty. Mendy just looks very uncomfortable in there. Mendy just looks very uncomfortable in there.
Steve, new trainer in the corner of Jean-Paul Mendy. What do you think of the advice and what do you think of him?
Well, Frederick Close is the trainer. He's the European welterweight champion. And he's an active fighter, top 20 welterweight. It's a little strange, but Aldo Guerriere, the trainer we've seen with Mendy in his 2 wins in this tournament, is not here. Not a good thing at this point, the most important fight of Mendy's career. Big negative.
What about the advice? Hey, let him come to you, let him be first, let him tire himself out.
Well, let him come to you. I don't necessarily think that's the bad advice, but let him tire himself out. Hey, who says he's going to get tired?
Right.
It's Henshaw who's setting the pace.
Right, and Henshaw who's first, and that's all he really wants to be. That gets it going, and it really stops Mendy from ever putting anything together. In terms of his counter-punching ability, to me, he's never shown me any exceptional ability to do that.
Well, you're going to see Mendy counter with underneath left hands to the body. That's his favorite shot.
Right. He's in position to do it, but it's Henshaw holding now. Henshaw hasn't neglected the jab, not really firing it. It's probably unnatural. He did spar over 80 rounds with left-handers for this, including cruiserweights, but that sparring, this is the real thing. Mendy in blue, undefeated, so is Anthony Henshaw in the black and gold. The American, follow-up right hand there, a little bit sloppy.
Now let's go. Punch out.
As Randy Phillips
Punch out.
wants him to punch out, but lets him fight, and why not? They're still winging shots inside.
Right. Step back. Step back. Box.
Mendy's not fighting with any fire, Steve.
None at all. Nothing on his shots. Henshaw's far more determined. But for a fighter who's had problems with focus in terms of his career, he's the one with the focus in the ring tonight.
And you know, focus has to be there. This whole tournament started, Steve, we're talking about the chance and the opportunity. 3 times, 6 months, national TV. You would think you'd have to just do nothing but stay in the gym and stay razor sharp if you would keep winning and get to this point. So what happened between the last fight and now? To John Paul Mendy, he hasn't shown much at all. And now they battle center of the ring, and Henshaw finally backs off. Henshaw probing, tries low, misses with the right hand. Mendy spinning out, but nothing back. Oh, he just got out punched there. Henshaw, and there's that little left hand from Mendy you mentioned, Steve. So Henshaw most effective with the right there, Mendy with that little left hybrid hook.
I thought Henshaw would be ahead halfway through this fight. Right now I have him 3-zip. I thought Mendy would come on in the second half of the fight, but if he comes on, he's going to have to come forward.
Yeah. 3 in the books. This is scheduled for 12.
All right, Tony, you start landing that right hand to the body now, okay? Because he's opening up down there. Right hand to the body, left hook to the head. Don't smother your left hook up top, all right? Give yourself a little room. Give yourself a little room to throw that hook and power it in there, okay? Because he's wide open on this side.
Action from round 3. I talked at the top about Henshaw getting respect with his right hand. There's one that wobbles Mendy. Is a little high on the head. Right on the cheekbone, actually. That'll discourage Mendy from coming forward with right hands like that.
All right. That's it. Now you're starting to land the uppercut, too, in there, okay?
Keep your balance. Keep your balance.
Set him up for the power left hook. And then when you're inside, hit him with the right hook, okay? He's wide open for the right hook inside. And the right hand to the body. Those 3 shots, and then mix them up with your stuff, all right?
Hard to fault Henshaw at all. He's fighting with enough caution, smart type of aggression, Steve.
And you can see how you have to change your style so much against the lefty. John Russell called for left hooks, right hooks, and rights to the body. Didn't mention the jab once. Henshaw's using it to set up shots and to create distance or to establish distance. But it's not a scoring factor in this fight. And it's his best weapon. So if he can compensate and win with other things, you got to give him a ton of credit.
Well, Mendy's got to start using both fists to win with something.
Hands are free.
The Henshaw camp doesn't think he has much of a left hand. I think he showed it against Buchanan, but we haven't seen it tonight. Now inside, it's Henshaw certainly not backing off, and Mendy with very little as he tries to roll those shots to the body, backing up, and it's not working.
Both punching, but the bull is Henshaw.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks like the stronger guy here. Neither guy with real powerful shots, but it's Henshaw more effective inside.
Hands are free.
Oh, Henshaw's chin was in the air dangerously there. And now it's a brawl that Henshaw seems to want, and Mendy doesn't want any part of it.
All right,
Mendy's
no
landed some
punch.
shots this round on there.
Well, he's willing to take some there.
Referee Randy Phillips doing a good job of letting them fight. You don't see him in the picture breaking them up.
Well, that Mendy's looking for here, Steve. Now he tries to create distance and line up Henshaw, who whacks him with a left hand. Comes underneath with that right nicely. Here comes the uppercut, perhaps.
Yeah.
Henshaw.
There's a big right uppercut by Henshaw.
Right, no punch, no punch. Bow.
Mendy not sharp at all. Really very, very few flush
Come on,
shots
fire,
landing
hands
from
are
the Frenchman. You're right, Steve. Mendy's mouth's been open since the second round. This could be the way he fights. I don't remember it like that before, but John Russell seemed to have pointed out they thought he was gasping a little for air earlier in his last fight. And now Henshaw, not a lot on the punches, but he's pulling forward, and he is forcing it in. And again, this is about pace and pressure, and it's Henshaw controlling both. And really, Mendy not effectively counterpunching.
Nope, and if Mendy's strategy is to let Henshaw tire himself out, that's a dangerous strategy.
Really
and
is.
it's a foolish strategy.
Yeah, what are they looking at? The Akeki fight or the Whitaker fight? Those things were 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, and then and Tony Henshaw has faded a tiny bit in some of his earlier fights, but again, you said it's a long time ago. And
I wouldn't depend on it.
Dis que tu me doubles tes bras avant. Ça rentre tout seul derrière.
Souffle bien. Souffle-moi mes 3 fois. Fais-les mes 3 fois. Allez.
Expire.
Encore. C'est bien, Jean-Paul.
Good job,
Commence à
Jean-Paul.
douter. Il n'a plus la solution. Il n'a plus la solution, Jean-Paul.
He no longer has a solution.
Il n'a plus la solution.
D'accord. Voilà. Il faut que tu doubles ton bras avant. Ok? Double-moi ton bras avant. Ok? Bim, 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 bim. D'accord? Pas sur un...
Actually, from round 4, Mendy landed more shots this round than in any other round of this fight. On the inside, they both landed uppercuts. And that was a beautiful right uppercut by Mendy. We talked about him being awkward. When they're inside, you think his awkwardness would be most effective because Henshaw can't possibly hope to know where those shots are coming from.
Who'd you give the round to, Steve?
Closest round yet, still gave it to Henshaw.
Well, Frederick Close said good job. Not good enough, though, perhaps. Mendy's playing catch-up here, we would say. He's in the blue. Tony Henshaw coming forward again, but really sort of smothering his own, I wouldn't say power, but those power shots.
This is, to me, this is all about attitude for Mendy. He has to take the attitude that I'm coming forward, I don't care what, I'm backing this guy up. If he doesn't take that attitude, he's not winning this fight.
Steve Henshaw doesn't look as smooth in this fight. He's looked good, and I think he's won the rounds, and I really think it is the southpaw issue. It's just not that comfortable for any orthodox fighter, and certainly Henshaw hasn't faced many.
Yeah, you're right, and the reason he doesn't look smooth is because he's not landing his jab.
Right, no punch.
But he's still getting it done. Maybe a little uglier, but he's getting it done. Busier. Mendy takes those shots on the gloves and now tries to counter inside, create a little distance. One thing I haven't seen Henshaw do is step out and slide out and then get Mendy running into shots. We haven't seen that kind of movement from Henshaw tonight.
Henshaw holding on a little bit there. That was a good moment for Mendy.
It's like Henshaw wants to make this an inside fight all the way, Steve. And like you said, setting this up, that Mendy's usually the aggressor here.
Wow, you know, we just had a shot of them, and Mendy's right foot was squarely on top of Henshaw's left foot on the inside. Happens all the time, of course, with righties against lefties.
Step back.
There's the jab from Mendy, but he just poked that right hand in and then retreated. Henshaw tries the uppercut and then muscles Mendy to the ropes. Crowd calling for more action.
Mendy flailing there, not uncommon for him.
Not a lot of clean shots landing in this, so it's getting a little sloppy. Both guys trying to get their rhythm timing down, get into some kind of an offensive flow, so it's a choppy type of round and maybe a fight in general. Anthony Henshaw, Jean-Paul Mendy fighting for the ShowBox Super Middleweight Championship here tonight. It's our tournament final. Our first main event of 2007. We'll be back in a couple of weeks, as you say. We get the new year rolling. Tomorrow night championship boxing, Peter and Tony.
Right. Step back.
Henshaw unable to land really cleanly. Boy, his face looks red, Steve. So Mendy obviously landing something here. Judge is taking a very close look at this, and now it's Henshaw perhaps stealing this round a little bit more action.
Right, no punching. Step back. Stop.
Tomorrow night, Showtime Championship Boxing begins its 21st year at the fights with a heavyweight clash. Samuel the Nigerian Nightmare Peter and James Lights Out Tony rematch in a WBC title eliminator. Their fight in September ended in a split decision for Peter. Tomorrow night, each hopes to make a definitive statement and secure a shot at a version of the heavyweight crown. In the show opener, undefeated Travis Sims tries to recapture his title belt when he faces WBA Super Welterweight Champion Jose Antonio Rivera. Tomorrow night is America's Fight Night on Showtime at a special time of 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific.
It's starting to come open. The right hand's starting to come open. All right. Just start putting your punches together. Just put them together, Tony, is all you got to do. Just box them like you can.
Steve, just looking at Henshaw, one thing I like, he really seems to listen in the corner. Let's see if he could execute. John Russell intimating that the right hand for Henshaw is there. How would he land it? Maybe shortening it up and throwing it as a lead punch here. Maybe as a follow-up off that left hook. Now he bangs with the left hook.
You know, as nice right hand inside by Henshaw. As this fight progresses, we're not even at the halfway mark yet. Whoa, their heads are kept coming together.
Oh, and Henshaw doing a rough work inside, much more effective. Mendy trying to tie up and hit on the break.
What I was going to suggest, Nick, is let's not underestimate the significance of hunger in this fight. These are both guys that were very, very big amateurs. Mendy fought in the Olympics, lost to Sven Ake in '96. Henshaw was the #1 rated middleweight, lost to Jermaine Taylor in the 2000 Olympic trials. These guys have waited a long time to make their mark. Got a lot of time to think about making their mark, and this is their chance.
Well, Steve, exactly. And Henshaw's commitment's been questioned. He had those 2 4-year layoffs, and it's time to grow up, says John Russell for him. And John Paul Mendy, at the same time, he could fight in Europe all you want. He says they don't care about boxing there the way they do in the U.S. That's why 4 of his last fights have been here in the U.S. He's got to make his mark here. This is the stage for these guys. To somebody, unless it's a perfectly even match, lefty-righty, that's causing a little bit of toppiness and sloppiness, as I've called it here before. Somebody's got to really step forward here. It's still anybody's fight. Here we see Mendy getting backed up again and content to brush the ropes. Now he gets off the ropes. And a little wrestling in the middle, but Henshaw continues to fire punches.
Henshaw wants to stay on the inside. He's comfortable there.
Interesting, isn't it?
I said at the top that Henshaw is the hardest puncher, and the hardest punch he has is his left hook, because he's a natural lefty, and when they're on the inside, that's the biggest punch you're going to see. Whether it lands or not is a different issue.
Well, Steve, it looks like Mendy's in a little deep. I mean, his experience is there in a lot of ways, but he's got to do something different at this point, it would seem. If they're banking on Henshaw running out of gas, as you said, it's dangerous. But he's not making enough happen offensively. And they're just taking some shots, not willing to trade, stepping back, looking for the counter, it seems, not initiating any play, and when he does, just leaping in there, as we saw. Oh, Mendy got ripped with a left hand.
Best part of the fight.
Absolutely. Henshaw with a beautiful left hook. Unloaded to the jaw of Jean-Paul Mendy. Can he follow up? Clock melting down to the halfway mark. Certainly won him the round, didn't he, Steve?
Oh, no doubt.
Guerrier, ma couille. Jeep, il faut que tu le fasses reculer. Il faut qu'il recule. S'il avance tout le temps comme ça, même si c'est des coups à la con, même si c'est des coups à la con, ils vont nous la mettre dans le cul. Ok, il faut qu'il recule.
You have to back up. Even if he keeps moving forward, you got to keep backing up.
Tu me le mets pas quand il percute arrière. Il rentre pas. Jean-Paul, mets-le. Lâche-le, faut qu'il percute arrière. Et ça rentre partout.
Il est touché à l'arcade droite.
D'accord.
Il est touché à l'arcade droite. Normalement, ta gauche, ça doit rentrer, Jean-Paul. Hein?
Normally, your left should hit him.
You see action here from round 6. That left hook by Henshaw, right on the point of the chin. Look at that. And Mendy took it. Mendy's never been down.
That's a good point, Steve.
Oh, that was a knockdown punch if I ever saw one. Mendy tried to answer with his own left, but you saw his technique is not as good. As a result, he doesn't punch as hard.
Could Henshaw have done anything better to follow up? He seemed to back off a little bit. He had to know, you wonder when you hit a guy flush, you know it.
No, it was a dramatic highlight of a punch, but Mendy took it as well as could have been expected.
And a good point that Mendy has never been down. How do you have it through 6, Steve?
59-55. The only round I gave Mendy was the 5th.
Here we go, 7th round. Each guy has been 10 numerous times, never 12. This scheduled for 12. South Haven, Mississippi. Oh, good exchange there.
Saw punches by both guys and a vicious butt.
Mendy's sucking some wind here, it seems. He got the worst of it there with that exchange. Well, he hadn't been able to work behind his jab at all.
But look at Mendy's determination now, Nick. He looks for the first time like he's determined to back Henshaw up. Let's see if he can do it.
It's a little tired to me. Not saying that Henshaw looks so fresh. Now they're in the pocket. Henshaw with a combination, not a lot on him. He's the busier guy. Mendy partially blocks those with the gloves.
Mendy likes to keep the guard high when Henshaw's close. Henshaw should not neglect the body.
Steve, I don't understand why Mendy doesn't take the lead occasionally. Now he's moving forward, just waiting to counter. Henshaw moving right, absorbs the left to the body.
I'm right, step back, no punch.
Another hook from Henshaw sinks in. Oh, right uppercut ripped through. Mendy trying to ward off the assault of Henshaw. Henshaw not creating much distance, content again to muscle inside. Boy, he's not getting any leverage on those shots or extension, but they're effective, driving Mendy back to his own corner.
As they trade shots, Nick, it looks apparent that Mendy can't stop Henshaw. Only Henshaw is going to be able to stop Henshaw if he gets tired.
Well, he shouldn't be tired. He had a solid month in the gym. Now Mendy coming forward, but not firing that jab at all. Just sticking it out there.
Well, if Mendy comes forward in the second half of this fight, you're going to see another attribute of Henshaw, and that's his legs. We haven't seen much of it, his legs, but it's one of his best attributes. Tony Henshaw, no one's ever questioned his abilities and his assets. He's got them all. It's always been his photo, all about his focus.
And Henshaw got staggered there by a left hand, it looked like. Maybe a balance problem there. Maybe he just got caught off guard, but
you got the hands up, and you got to turn the right hand and left hook. You understand me? You got to do that.
I got
okay?
you.
Get on out. Stay down there. Stay right down there.
No, I got to get. Come on, fellas. I got to.
Come on, let John get him there.
The right hand, take a deep breath, control your breathing. 3, control him. It's the right hand. When he's holding your left hand, go crazy with the right hand. Pop, pop, bang, bang, and bam. And then when he try to grab that one, come back with the left hand. But you got to get busy. Huh?
Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
You gotta have a
Don't
right
rush
hand
in.
and a
Not
right hook.
rushing in. That's where you got caught. You rushed in.
See, hit him behind there,
All
right
right.
here on the ear.
Just keep boxing him. See, you out there, you got that rhythm. You're starting to catch him.
Use your jab.
Use your jab and boxing, Tony.
okay, Steve, if how do you have it, Seth?
I have a 69-64 for Henshaw.
So a couple of things, starting with one thing that Mendy has to do.
What he tried to do in round 7 with limited success, have the mental attitude, I got to back my man up. He's got to do that. He's got to make Henshaw use Henshaw's legs. I'll tell you one important factor. I was in the ring before the start of the card. This is a pretty hard ring. That will favor Henshaw. The harder the ring, the better for the mover. And right now, Tony Henshaw's using his legs.
Yeah, he is, Stephen. He's not running by any means. But
Nice
he is.
right lead by Henshaw there.
Yeah, good angles. Here he is following up, and now content to try to outslug Jean-Paul Mendy. Mendy holding and hitting, holding with his right hand, hitting with the left, which is legal. That back Henshaw temporarily out, but now he goes to work to the body. There's that uppercut from Mendy as he tries once, twice, and then tries to go over the top with the left cross.
We mentioned Mendy's never been down. Henshaw's never been down as a pro either.
Pretty physical fight. And both guys showing the effects of it anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Mendy's a physical fighter, but what's surprising is that the physical nature of the fight has played into Henshaw's favor.
Henshaw with a big rush of his own, but he comes in straight. He's laying the jab out. There's the straight right hand from Henshaw. Now he's inside, just tying up Mendy. Mendy really trying to land that left uppercut. Let's watch for that. Boy, he just really hasn't been able to make Anthony Henshaw think twice. I believe that's been Mendy's biggest problem. As you indicated a couple of rounds ago, Steve, it doesn't seem that Mendy has the abilities or the power to push Henshaw back and discourage him.
Yeah, and I think that was his only way to win. In that sense, he's one-dimensional, where Tony Henshaw can win in more than one way, as we're seeing.
But once inside, I don't see Henshaw with any kind of hellacious power by any means, but just the volume punching. He's outworking Mendy in every round enough to win them.
A couple of big shots there by Mendy, but again, enough power on him? I don't think so.
Well, he does seem to be getting a little bit more into this fight.
No punch. Come back.
Closing out the 8th here in South Haven, Mississippi, the Showbox Super Middleweight Championship fight.
Super. On est dedans. Il est mort.
Tout de suite, quand tu lui donnes des coups, il faut maintenant que tu sois actif. D'accord? Tu craches le premier, hein?
You gotta be active. You gotta hit him first.
Jeep, il y a un truc. Faut pas le laisser attaquer. C'est quand il attaque que tu prends des coups. Tu le laisses attaquer pour tu prends des coups.
Don't let him attack you. You gotta attack before he does.
On est d'accord? On le laisse pas attaquer,
Bah non.
Don't let him attack.
Écoute,
Encore une
Jean-Paul.
fois. Expire.
Il en
On y va.
peut plus. Fais-le. Il doute. Maintenant, les coups doivent faire mal. Il faut que tu sois actif.
He's doubting. You gotta be
Sois un peu plus
active.
actif, Jean-Paul.
Attaque avant lui. Ok?
Ne le laisse pas attaquer.
Don't let him attack. Attack before he does.
Attaque, c'est pas bon. Ne le laisse pas attaquer. Jean-Paul, la blessure. Mais faut pas te bloquer dessus. Ne te bloque pas dessus, mais dès que tu peux, faut y aller.
Avant lui.
Jean-Paul, on est un peu en retard. Faut que tu rattrapes.
Allez, faut y aller. Monte par l'abordage. Ok?
As soon as you can attack, you attack.
As soon as you can attack, switch now. Why wait for anything? Just attack, if that's the way Mendy has to fight according to his corner to win this. But Mendy's strictly been counterpunching and apparently falling dangerously behind, arguably anyway.
Henshaw seems to have a small cut on the inside of his right eye. It doesn't look like much of a factor. It happened a couple of rounds ago.
Now they're in close. It's like both guys need some punching room. It hasn't been crisp on either side, but Henshaw arguably been more effective. There's a good exchange, and Mendy landed there. Now Mendy trying to maybe get a little rougher. Henshaw just standing right in the pocket there, pretty flat-footed, willing to duke with this guy and just blast away here. Well, they want Henshaw up the middle here instead of wide shots when he's in close. Like here, maybe the uppercut.
Tell you one thing, John Russell's got Kenny Adams in his corner, former Olympic coach. That's a corner mismatch in this fight. I mean, Frederick Close might someday be a good trainer, but he's a welterweight, not a trainer.
No doubt about it. Henshaw standing right in front of Mendy and driving him back. And like I say, these aren't heavy-duty, not really hitting power lanes by any means, but he's just been the stronger guy.
Nick, don't you think if we told Mendy yesterday that Henshaw was going to be trying to smother him and make it a physical fight, he would have been very happy?
Yeah, he was saying, I sense a collision fight, and it was apparently, he implied that's what he wanted. He's getting the worst of it for the most part, most of the night.
He's in the fight, but he's got to do something more dramatic.
Got to fight with fire, exactly. Do something differently and start by being first. There he tries to come forward, but he is not really putting punches together. Henshaw just really pulling him backward. Shoulders, elbow maybe, forearms, but not enough punches from either guy now. We're in the 9th of a 12-rounder. The loss would not be lethal for either man, but certainly damaging. They had a steam of momentum going into this night.
Well, those heads have come together a lot in this fight. Swelling over Henshaw's right eye.
Right.
That's the way to work, though. That's what you got to do, is hustle in there, baby. That's what you got to do. Huh? You got to hustle. Tony, come on, let's go. You got to have this, which means you got to step up to the plate now, baby. Tony, you got to step up to the plate. Ain't nothing to do. We saying straight right hand, utilize your jab when you get inside, right hooks, left uppercuts, right uppercuts, all on the inside work, baby. You got to have that, and you got to be consistent.
Action from round 9. That's a right hook, and you know what? I don't think we saw that as clearly as we do on the replay, but Tony Henshaw looked hurt for the first time in the fight there. Right hook by Mendy.
Loop it around his ear like a hook.
Give yourself room to punch. Like I always tell you, give yourself room.
Y'all get the water up.
Kenny Adams shouting to Anthony Henshaw not to smother his power inside. Steve, that's the interesting thing, you know, making adjustments or once you know, well, you're probably not going to knock Mendy out. Naturally, you keep looking for the big punch, but maybe you're not chilling him with your kind of power, but still to continue to work and just outwork this guy. So that's where the maybe mental toughness comes in to keep it going. Some of the rounds later have been closer than the ones earlier, I would think.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, there've been 3 or 4 rounds where I had to give it a long thought before I could give 10 to either fighter. You know, it's interesting. Mendy does seem more determined now, does seem to want to come forward. But Henshaw is very happy to let Mendy come forward because he'll engage him inside.
Right. Well, we heard it very early in the fight, the Mendy's corner saying let him tire himself out, alluding to Henshaw. Neither guy looking exhausted, but both guys definitely getting drained a little bit. They have been 10, as we said, between them 9 times, but never beyond that. This is scheduled for 12. Nobody's been down, nobody's been hurt. A good guess is that Henshaw has outworked Jean-Paul Mendy most of this fight. Henshaw in the black, both guys undefeated, looking to step up and become top 10 material. There's that left hook from Henshaw as he's content to trade with Mendy, and Mendy's the guy backing off now. Let's see if that Mendy little hybrid left hand comes into play. The cross or the uppercut.
A lot more power on Henshaw's hook than on his right hand.
Agreed. Here's Mendy walking forward and leaning in. Almost got caught with that right hand. Henshaw pretty squared up now, too.
As Mendy gets a little sloppier coming forward, that's going to set up that left hook of Henshaw.
Let's see if he finds it. Henshaw there with good movement to sail out of danger, and now reload and wade in. And a good little flurry there to put a punctuation point perhaps on this 10th round for him.
Not a doubt in my mind who the more fatigued fighter is, Nick. It's Mendy.
And there he gets caught and rocked backward with shots to the head just before the bell to close the 10th. So Henshaw finishing big the last 30 seconds of this round.
This has been a very, very physical fight. It's not unusual when a lefty fights a righty that there are feet on feet, heads colliding. We certainly have had plenty of that in this fight. As a matter of fact, Mendy's been more effective with his head than he has with his fists. You can see a lot of butts here. Oh, right there. That's why Anthony Henshaw's right eye is as swollen as it is. He's starting to get that gargoyle look. And when they fight on the inside as much as these guys have, there's going to be damage, and there has been damage as we see John Russell
Combination.
Dealing with that damage.
Bam, then.
Round number 11, championship round.
This is the end of round 10. I said watch out for the left hook. Mendy's getting tired. His hands are dropping. This is a fighter whose defense is keeping his hands up. He's tired now. His hands aren't up. As a result, Henshaw can land just about any shot he wants.
Show me some fucking boxes.
Box! Get the water up!
We're in the 11th. John Paul Mendy absolutely has to catch up, and he must know it. Now, Henshaw seemingly, catches Mendy on the way in beautifully with a right hand. Then Mendy returning fire pretty well here, and now it's a little bit of a brawl inside as they try to outmuscle each other. Mendy off the break lands with that little left hand. You're right, Steve. Referee Randy Phillips doing an excellent job.
Nick, you called that right hand by Henshaw, which landed flush. Something came back. Yeah, Mendy countered with a left hand, and for a minute there, Henshaw looked a little stunned.
Now Henshaw unloading. Now he's in tight. See, both guys a little bit open. Nobody electing to hold on right now. They got to be fatigued. Now we see him in a clinch. Henshaw showing some foot movement.
You have to be impressed with Henshaw's determination. He's a very, very smooth, gifted boxer that wasn't going to get it done in his mind tonight.
Right.
He's winning a totally different way. He just wants it a little more.
He's been hit a little in this round. I don't like exactly what he's doing if I was in his corner.
Well, he's looking as sloppy as Mendy now because he's tired too.
Boy, but Mendy's had some openings here, and he hasn't been able to really rip through cleanly. So neither guy really hitting the mark.
And this is where Mendy's lack of power comes into play and hurts him badly.
And I think Henshaw's as well. I don't see him as a heavy-duty slugger by any means. I know you don't either, Steve, but you think he's the stronger guy.
Yeah, the harder puncher, especially with the left hook, but I would not term him a huge puncher.
It's all relative. It really is. Yeah, look at Mendy with the little arm shots there. No leverage on him. Now trying to get some distance extension on the right hand. Henshaw in position. Let's see if the body lands. Nope. He went for it again. Henshaw trying to box. And now Mendy coming at him finally. So Mendy knows he's got to be a lot more aggressive in this. The final seconds of the 11th and certainly in the 12th. We will listen into the corners and see what adjustments, if any, they're going to make.
This is action from early in round 11. You're going to see Henshaw land the right hand. And the left hand that stunned him as you see him fall into the ropes looked like it was almost more Mendy's wrist than it was.
Absolutely.
Watch again. That's a slap, but it's right into the middle of Henshaw's face. And it's hard to figure why Henshaw would be hurt so badly by a shot that was thrown so inexactly.
You gotta move first. You gotta move forward first. Every time you block, you gotta hit him back.
When you spinning,
Come on.
hit him.
Suck it up. Relax. Relax.
When you spinning, nice, pop, 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 and move. Don't stand in front of him.
You gotta hit him first. You gotta hit him first.
All right? Talk to me. All right. Come on. Show it. Show me something. Don't get careless. Speak it.
Not a good sign for Mendy. He is the first one standing the last 30 seconds of that break between rounds. So let's see if he's come to air it out here in the 12th and let it go. He has to, Steve, according to your card.
No doubt. You know, Mendy has come on in the second half of the fight, but that's relative because he didn't do very well the first half of the fight. After 11 rounds, I got a 107, 102 Henshaw.
They want Henshaw to be on the move, box and move. Henshaw complaining about the head butt again.
Oh, nice right counter from Henshaw as he catches Mendy being overly aggressive here.
And Henshaw is bleeding badly.
And they want the doctor to take a look.
Headbutt.
Oh, yeah, it's a headbutt, and that's what Henshaw was complaining about.
He's spewing blood.
Steve, if they stop it once again,
we go to the cards. If it was ruled by a butt, which the referee said.
All right, come on.
Henshaw seems a little troubled by that. He's tasting his own blood here. Mendy really going for it. And Henshaw seems a little unraveled by this all.
Well, Mendy clearly energized by the blood, and Henshaw should be holding on.
He should be. Looks like he almost got butted again. Boy, if Henshaw blows it down the stretch like that, it would be a tragedy for him. Mendy winging shots from everywhere. Let's see the energy level here. Now Henshaw trying to pour it on and push Mendy back. So Henshaw digging in close. Here he comes, launching an attack. It's wild, it's sloppy, but it's kept Mendy from getting into this round again.
And Nick, there's not a person in this arena sitting down right now.
Oh, right hand from Henshaw, rocked Mendy.
And a follow-up left with it. It's as if Henshaw, after getting cut, he couldn't go back on the throttle. He's been in one gear and he's staying in it.
Mendy is really sucking wind here, and he was hurt there. Henshaw backed him up. 3 good punches. Mendy better climb all over him and take some shots now. He stands flat-footed and just jumps in again, Steve. Henshaw looking to his corner. They want him to move out, keep moving. He doesn't oblige as he stands and elects to trade with Jean-Paul Mendy.
Boy, looking at that cut.
Top 10 plays of the week in our NBA TV Countdown. Starting us off at number 10 is Bulls rookie Tyrese Thomas.
Thomas drives, dunks it through, and he's fouled. Tyrese Thomas showing that athleticism.
At 9, another first-year player, Charlotte's Adam Morrison.
Oh! Count it! The flair for the dramatic Adam Morrison.
At number 8 is Andres Biedrich, taking it to the rack.
Standing ovation for Andres Biedrich.
For number 7, we go back to the rookies with the Knicks' Ronaldo Balkman.
Knicks have a 2-on-1. Balkman goes to the basket. Oh! Count it, and a foul! Balkman flying over Harris and a chance for a three-point play.
At 6, Utah's Carlos Boozer with authority.
His bounce pass in the lane. The Boozer stuffs it over Arenas, and they call a blocking foul.
At number 5, another spectacular slam from Trevor Ariza.
And then one. Trevor Ariza! Oh, boy. He took Jermaine O'Neal through the rim. What a dunk from the spectacular Ariza.
At 4, Ben Wallace with what might just be the highest shot of the year.
Wallace against Wallace. Oh, went in! Can you believe that shot? Ben Wallace on Rashid. That was remarkable.
At number 3 is Caron Butler from way downtown.
Doesn't take many of those.
Oh, you should have. Oh! Look at it. Wow.
That'll go in the books as about a 75-footer, don't you think?
Yeah.
At 2, Mo Peterson shows why you should always play till the buzzer.
And it's a deflection by Ruffin. And the play continues. Peterson got it! I don't believe it! I don't believe it! The Hail Mary 3 by Mo Pete! I don't believe what I just saw!
And at number one. It could be the play of the year from Rasheed Wallace.
And Rasheed from long range